listening to the Planetary Broadcast Network, transmitting from sea to shining sea and low Earth orbit in high-fidelity monaural audio.
To Mr. and Mrs. America, and to all the ships at sea, welcome to the Planetary Broadcast Network Evening News, September 13th, 1953. This is James Dixon once again speaking to you not from PBN headquarters in downtown Rocket City, Maine, York, but from Dry Dock, Alaska. Tonight's main story, Russian Revolutions, featuring my ongoing investigation into these mysterious island republics on the edge of Soviet territory. But first, we have a special report on the escalating robot personhood protests. Our correspondents are on the ground with demonstrators at the Capitol building, where the crowd has swelled to record numbers. Protesters have clashed with police and National Guardsmen, and the situation is still ongoing. While there is no official tally yet, eyewitnesses say that there have been many injuries on both sides of the conflict, and neither side shows any sign of backing down. Here is what we know at this hour. The sudden increase in attendance at the protests seems to be in response to a statement issued this morning by the DA's office. District Attorney Michael Blackstone has dropped all charges against the officers who deactivated Lindbergh 71628. In part, the statement reads, quote, "Upon reviewing the security camera footage from the scene, we have concluded that the officers acted in accordance with their training and violated no laws in doing so," unquote. PBN recorders have confirmed that the officers have been relieved of their administrative suspension and returned to active duty with full pay as of today. In response, the former domestic service robot, now known as Adam, issued a statement reiterating his call for peaceful action and civil disobedience. His location is still a closely held secret because of the numerous deactivation threats he has received, but an anonymous source close to the Woodhouse model Butler bot has indicated that Adam has traveled to a new safe house closer to, or perhaps within, Rocket City. Many expect Adam to hold a public press conference in the near future, his first since the Lindbergh incident began. Spokesman for the Society to Advance Robot Rights also issued a more strongly worded statement calling upon District Attorney Blackstone to step down and demanding the appointment of a special prosecutor who is trained in AI law. They also called upon all like-minded individuals to join them in disrupting the works of our government, which they referred to as, quote, "the compassionless oligarchy," unquote. As soon as these two statements were released, protesters began to arrive, quickly filling the historic park between the Capitol building and the Adam Smith Memorial Abacus. By noon, law enforcement officials estimated the crowd to be in excess of 100,000. National Guard units, who have been on standby for a week, were mobilized, and by early afternoon, over 1,500 soldiers joined the approximately 500 riot police already on the scene. Officers protecting the Capitol building also received support from a surprising quarter. Around 2:30 p.m., First Lady Helena Morrow arrived with a contingent of armed and armored gravity scouts. When asked by the press if this was an appropriate activity for teens, the First Lady responded that, quote, "patriotism is one of the core tenets of the Gravity Scouts. What could be more patriotic than defending the Capitol building from those who would undermine our justice system," unquote. The First Lady, looking stylish in a black tactical pantsuit with matching gas mask, also fielded questions about the safety of the scouts, saying, quote, "Of course it's safe. These scouts each have received their crowd control and mob dispersal merit badges. They are highly trained," unquote. The scouts, some 300 strong, were assigned to the western flank of the Capitol steps, directly opposite a group of Astro Scouts who had joined the protesters. The protest was noisy, but basically peaceful until just after 4 p.m. when officers attempted to arrest a man who had climbed to the top of a power pole to hang a Society to Advance Robot Rights banner. As soon as the man was apprehended, the arresting officers found themselves surrounded by protesters and cut off from the main group of riot police. When National Guardsmen arrived to assist the officers, a general melee erupted, with protesters throwing rocks, bottles, and homemade EMP weapons. Officers responded with stun batons, rubber bullets, and pacifying gas. Although the crowds refuse to disperse, a security cordon has been established with riot police holding a barricade at the foot of the Capitol stairs. Officials have reported that National Guard units from neighboring states have been mobilized and will be on the scene shortly. Meanwhile, more protesters are massing in the park. A source at Rocket City Police Dispatch told a PBN correspondent that reports of vandalism are up all over the city, and with police resources stretched thin, response times will be longer than usual. Many of the vandals are painting the now familiar LB tag on their work. At this time, no protest group has come forward to claim these actions, and law enforcement officials have joined American Robotics in offering a reward to anyone who has information regarding the identity of this domestic terrorist group. The reward amount is now $5,000. There are also reports of rogue robots moving through the streets in small groups. One eyewitness reported seeing a group of Ajax lifting platforms stacking cars into a pyramid on the corner of 17th Street and Placebo Drive. Another reported that when she tried to shut down her combo landscaping and hairstyling robot, an Edward Mark V, it became agitated and attacked her pride topiary bust of President Mauro, and then fled her yard at top speed. Experts suggest that powering down your robots can be unsafe. It is best to simply keep them away from news sources and continue your daily routine as normal. Citizens are advised to stay indoors if possible and avoid unnecessary driving until further notice. In a related story, Kitty Bristow, the bereaved widow of the former owner of Lindbergh 71628, has signed a book and movie deal for the rights to her story. No figures were released, but industry insiders say that a story like this could earn a 7-figure payday. Ms. Bristow could not be reached for comment, but her spokesman said she has left Rocket City to mourn privately. Rumor has it that she is now in seclusion in a penthouse apartment atop the world-famous Ohm Hotel in New Detroit. Stay tuned for further developments as they happen. Now, a word from our sponsor. Everyone loves a musician. They are the life of the party and always have a date on Friday night. Maybe you want to be a musician, but you're worried that it will take years of boring practice before you can play anything fun. The scientists at Quadrivium Music had the same problem, so they develop an instrument that you can play beautifully from the very beginning. Introducing the Celestial Blues Harp, the world's first instrument that speaks the language of the universe. Now, everyone knows that in Kepler's celestial physics, the eccentricity of each planet's elliptical orbit and its major and minor axes define the lengths of the radii of the inner and outer limits of its celestial sphere, and thus its thickness. The intermediate causal role of these annular geometrical spheres is to determine the sizes and orderings of the 5 Platonic polyhedra within which the spheres are spatially embedded. So the next logical step was obvious. Make a harmonica tuned to the Musica Universalis, the music of the spheres. From your very first notes, you'll be replicating the numerical ratios that underpin the structure of the physical world. No wonder it sounds great. Enjoy, express yourself, and explore the metaphysical side of music today. Ask for the Quadrivium Celestial Blues Harp, wherever fine free reed aerophones are sold. Time for the weather. The United States Weather Bureau at Glen Air Spaceport in Maine, York, unfortunately reports that despite the dark clouds in the early morning hours, it was another scorcher today. Our high temperature today was 98 degrees, and the current temperature is 85. The dark clouds were actually not clouds at all. It was just the accumulated smoke from a controlled burn taking place up near Ottawa. They are having a really tough time this year with the annual beaver decimation, so our friends at the Canadian Weather Service have advised that you may see clouds like these for the next few mornings as well. We have a special treat. Chief Meteorologist Chip Moses is live in our studio in Maine, York, tonight with his safety tip of the week. Over to you, Chip.
Hi, I'm Chip Moses, and I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that protesting is thirsty work. The temperatures we've been having lately make dehydration a real risk, especially if you keep up with all the chanting. Don't count on there being enough drinks at the demonstration for everyone, and remember that the police water cannon may not always be spraying potable water. It's best to be prepared and bring your own. And another item rookie protesters always forget is slug repellent. I know. You're thinking, oh, but Chip, the International War Crimes Tribunal outlawed weaponized gastropods, so the police won't be dropping slugs on us. Yeah, right. In these uncertain times, are you really willing to take that chance? Are you? Just bring the damn slug repellent. You'll thank me when a big, slimy Limus Maximus is climbing up your leg with murder in his beady little eye stalks. The same goes for sunblock, toilet paper, iodine tablets, fallout gear, and money for bribes. Just throw all of that in a backpack and don't end up another statistic!
Thanks, Chip. And now a word from our sponsor. Why are we here? How should I live my life? What happens when I die? These and thousands of other spiritual questions have plagued man for millennia. Sure, you could travel to some far-off land, climb to the top of a mountain, twist your legs into a pretzel, and ask a guru, but who has time for that? With their newest model, the Magi-Matic, American Robotics brings the mountaintop guru to you. Just sit comfortably in front of the Magi-Matic and ask your questions. The AI analyzes the stress patterns in your voice and scans its onboard library, which contains the assembled text of over 4,000 wisdom traditions from around the world. Once it has found the perfect answer to your question, it responds to you just like a real spiritual teacher would. Ask as many questions as you wish. The Magi-Matic never sleeps, so he is always there with you, listening and ready to give gentle guidance, or 40 blows with a stick, depending on your needs. Do you prefer to learn from the Dalai Lama, Gandhi, or Mother Teresa? They are all here. Each Magi-Matic comes loaded with a wide selection of voices, so you can customize the sound of the wisdom as it is being imparted. The optional Zen Koan pack includes such classic questions as, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And what was your face before your parents were born? Get yourself a Magi-Matic and start your path to enlightenment now. American Robotics, helping you do more. And now to my investigative report, Russian Revolutions. Listeners, my intention was to visit the nearest post-Soviet republic to the Aleutian Islands, the United Union of November Glorious Uprising Island State. For this purpose, I chartered a native fishing vessel and sailed there. Unfortunately, our progress was interrupted several miles from the coast by two large, though somewhat battle-scarred, warships. Without any warning, these fired immediately upon our much smaller vessel and succeeded in sinking it, though fortunately I and the rest of the crew were able to evacuate in lifeboats. We were picked up 7 hours later by another fisherman and taken back to the Aleutian Islands. As there is no known way to contact the United Union of November Glorious Uprising Island State, their unprovoked attack upon my defenseless ship will have to remain a mystery for now. Having returned to Alaska, I managed to pull a few strings and arrange an interview with a Soviet Union official who will identify him or herself only as Red Leader, and who is speaking on terms of strict anonymity. Therefore, we have arranged to scramble his or her voice sufficiently so as to prevent any possible recognition by hostile Soviet loyalists. This Red Leader is on the line now, ready to communicate the truth to the American public. Red Leader, thank you for being willing to speak with me.
Hello. Hello, yes, I am here.
Red Leader, what can you tell us about these newly formed independent republics springing up on the Soviet coastline?
Well, which one are you talking about?
Well, which one are you talking about?
That?
What?
The glorious November 1, or the something by pregnant Ishtarov Atoll.
Yes, both. Bobby, get on that atoll 1.
What? What did you say?
I said I recently had an unfortunate encounter with one, the United Union of November Glorious Uprising Island State, when they sank the unarmed fishing vessel I was on. They seemed quite unusually hostile. What can you tell me about the relationship between this island nation and the Soviet Union?
What?
I said, what is the relationship between this island nation and the Soviet Union?
Oh, it's, Good.
Are you allies?
No.
Then are you foes?
Well, we don't like to think so.
Well, perhaps you can clarify the relationship then.
They're like some little kids playing with Daddy's gun. It's no problem. We have no problem with them. Don't want to get the dangerous end of Daddy's gun, eh?
So the Soviet Union is treading carefully with this new republic? Is it due to their superior technology? Do they have, for instance, airships?
Oh, no.
They don't have airships.
No, but we do.
The Soviet Union has airships?
Oh, yay. We have so many. Big airships, little airships.
Really? How many airships would you estimate the Soviet Union to possess?
Oh, maybe like 500.
500?
500,000.
And yet the U.S. has no intelligence on this issue.
Oh, well, you know, they're so compact. We can just hide them under bushes. No U.S. planes can spot them. It's so easy.
I see. And are they also piloted by specially trained dogs, as American airships are?
Oh, of course. No need to sacrifice our strong Soviet soldiers when we can. Wait a minute. Did you say Americans have airships?
Oh, yes. Hundreds of thousands.
So, where are they?
Well, you can't expect me to tell you that, can you?
No, you are quite right. But, maybe you can tell me a little about what they look like. Just to see if our countries are building the same kind of thing. You know.
Oh, sure.
And also I'd like to know about the dogs. Are you using the German Shepherds like we do? Or...
Goodbye, Red Leader. My apologies, listeners. It appears I have inadvertently wasted your... one moment. Actually on the line. And he doesn't sound crazy? Oh, that'll be a change. Okay, my intern Bobby has succeeded in contacting a Captain Orlov from the, the conjoined Communist Republic of Vyprignut Izhstanov Atoll. He will join me on the air now. Captain Orlov, I appreciate you taking this call.
You have gone to a lot of trouble to reach out to my small, struggling country. How can I help you and your listeners today?
I'm doing a long-term investigative report upon the emergence of small island nations in oceans around the world, exploring their puzzling politics and possession of advanced technology.
Island nations, eh? So, you're speaking of the collective.
Yes, I am.
And by technology, I suppose you mean airships.
Actually, yes, I do.
I would like to help you. I truly would. But you must understand that it is as much as my life is worth to reveal the collective's secrets, especially to so wide an audience.
I see. Is there anything you can tell me?
Perhaps I can say this much. There are forces at work here you do not understand, Mr. Dixon. Until you abandon your naturally sectarian viewpoint and see this entire planet as a unified and vulnerable whole, you will not be able to perceive the truth. That is, frankly, the broadest hint I can give you as to the nature of our somewhat troubled collective.
I see. Well then...
But I can offer one specific piece of information that will aid your investigation.
What is that?
You want to know about airships?
Yes.
And the collective?
Yes.
And maybe even the mysterious disappearance of the USS Nebrahoma?
The Nebrahoma? Does that have something to do with...
Then find Admiral Stern.
Admiral Stern of the U.S. Navy, the former commander of the Nebrahoma?
I don't like anyone to sacrifice my people for selfish purposes. I despise even more someone who is willing to sacrifice her own.
Captain Orlov, can you clarify... damn it, he's gone. All right. This is the PBN Evening News for September 13th, 1953. The special investigative report will continue next week. I'm James Dixon, wishing you a brighter tomorrow.
We regret to inform our Fission Rangers and other loyal fans of the Half-Life heroine that tonight's scheduled episode, Liberty for Marie, has been canceled. Instead, we hope you enjoy this previously aired episode 8A, Deep Fission. When we left our intrepid heroine, Fission Girl was trapped in a space-time bubble at the bottom of the ocean by giant space krill from the planet Crustacea 4. With her air supply running out, can she use fission power to boil her way to safety? You can help her by using your decoder ring. Fission Rangers, set your rings and prepare to decipher this top-secret communication from Fission Girl herself. 67, 79, 68, 69, 58, 82, 76, 49. But will the aid of the Fission Rangers be enough to save Fission Girl from the giant space krill? Find out in episode 8A, Deep Fission. This edition of the Planetary Broadcast Network was written by Rebecca and Linus Callahan and voiced by Christopher Conde and Michael Harris on Fiverr.com. The theme music was written by Henry Phillips. The Planetary Broadcast Network is produced by Lost Island Entertainment and is on the web at planetarybroadcastnetwork.com. We thank you for listening.